Welcome to Adam Does Movies Live. Hopefully, I look okay and I sound all right. Got a good group of people watching already, I see. Definitely my usual subscribers and not new fans of the channel coming in. Hope everyone's having a good Friday night. Let's just get right into it. I did take notes to prepare because I was going to go off the cuff, but there's a lot to talk about. And honestly, I'm a little nervous if I could be frank with you. I'm not one that likes the outrage and the views for clicks sort of thing. So in the past, I've done reviews that were like against the norm, and like Sound of Freedom, for instance, I thought wasn't very good. I didn't think it was outright horrible, but I thought it was just like, okay. And so I had like thousands of comments telling me that I'm a pedo sympathizer and I should die and all this stuff. And it was really disgusting. It was really awful. So then I addressed that by basically just kind of owning them, like responding with a salty comeback video. And then I walk away. But that's like unfulfilling and unsatisfying. So I thought, why don't I try something different and just look at all the negative comments on my channel, take the actual criticisms, a few of them, and try to relate or to communicate my thoughts. And so let me just start by saying, I'm not a full-time critic. This is a hobby of mine. I've been doing this for over a decade. I've had 2 kids since I started YouTube. I've had a wife for like 16 years. And I've had a full-time job that whole time. I'm a web developer and designer. This is just a passion project for me. It's a passion project that I do take seriously and actually does help pay the bills. It's not an amazing amount of money, but it's enough to keep my sick wife home so she doesn't have to work her ass off. Let me get into what happened with this movie. So I saw it Wednesday night. I went with a buddy, Matt. He actually drove 2 hours to come meet me. Prior to this, I saw a trailer for Godzilla minus 1. And I thought, holy crap, this looks awesome. I had not seen or heard about this movie up until a month earlier. I'm not part of the Godzilla fandom community. I'm not like online all the time. I guess my head was in a hole because I didn't know this was some 70th anniversary for Godzilla. I'm just not a Godzilla guy. I've seen some of the movies. I'm familiar with the black and white originals. And I know like the American stuff. I know it's huge in Japan. That's awesome. That's great. Everybody has things they love. Apparently there's a thriving, amazing community of Godzilla fans. Wonderful. What wasn't so wonderful was the way they responded, but this is not a victim video. I'm not going to be going through and combing over thousands of comments and all these things on Twitter and TikTok and stuff and like crying about it. This kind of comes with the territory now, and it has come with the territory for quite a while, which is a shame. I just will say my piece, and then I should point out that super chats are always appreciated. If you have thoughts on this movie, I will post it up on the video. I will address it. Just don't tell me to go, fuck myself. That's not the ad hominem attacks have been done to death, going against my character and other things I like. That's worthless. We do have a super chat already. Shot out of a cannon, Alex Douthright for $5. Saw some awful stuff on Twitter, so wanted to support the channel. Keep being you, Adam. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, Twitter was disgusting. I'll just say that. Twitter was disgusting. All right, let me go through my notes. Okay. First, I should start with Wednesday. So I watched the trailer. I showed my kids. They were pumped. My son Connor's 11. He's a big fan of these types of movies. He likes the Kong movie. Kong is awesome, by the way. I'm a big King Kong fan of Peter Jackson's. I know that's a remake of several different iterations. They're all pretty cool in their own way. I really like Peter Jackson's King Kong because I'm a big Lord of the Rings guy. I like his work. Hell, I love The Frighteners. That's a great movie. Godzilla has been very hit or miss. The ones I've seen, mostly miss. I think they have a cool idea, and I love the idea of just a giant creature destroying everything. And I know the older iteration is more of a symbol of nuclear warfare and trauma, and that stuff's all really awesome. I just don't think they ever really get it right for me. Godzilla King of the Monsters was a pretty fun, I think, mostly their attempt. But then I hated Kong versus Godzilla, or whatever the hell that was called. I just thought that was too dumb to be like, it just didn't work. It was too long. It was too dumb. If you're going to be really stupid and schlocky, do it in a quick way. Get in and get out. I like lots of silly, fun family films, but you got to do it quickly. And we'll get to some of the criticisms about that in a little bit. All right, where am I? Okay, so I'm excited for this movie. I want to take the kids, but I find out there's a Wednesday night showing. We planned on going to the Thursday night. There was a Wednesday early showing. I thought, okay, I'm going to go to this. Matt chimed in. He's like, hey, I'll drive up and meet you. We'll go see this movie. I say, all right, cool. If it's awesome, I'll bring my kids the next time. We'll go to the theaters and watch this thing, because I was anticipating off the trailer it would be awesome. We go. I will say, and this is going to be spoiler free. We go, and I'm pretty into it for about 15 minutes. I like the opening. I appreciated the backdrop of being historical right after, ground zero, right after World War II, after the bomb falling. I like the idea of a kamikaze pilot who bails out on a really bad idea, but then he feels awful about it. Like, I didn't help my country, right? Because it's kind of drilled in. I also like that they do ground the story for the first half a lot. And I don't mind that it was slower either. The problems I have were that it loses me after about halfway through. I'm finding myself sitting here going, okay, he has PTSD. Now what? Nothing's really moving in this story. He's got this kind of awkward relationship with this woman who he's not married to. They have this child together that's not theirs. It's just this broken family coming together to be one. On paper, this is all still working for me. But then it loses me halfway through because nothing more is being added. And I'm just kind of watching the same things play out. Also, the main character, these actors are all fine. It's how they're written that I don't like. And this might be a cultural thing, I don't know. But the way he presents himself with the emotions, it was almost a little silly to me, kind of anime levels, which I'm not a huge anime guy. My son loves anime. For me, it ebbs and flows. But some of the ways, like he's just over the top crying and presenting himself, it's just coming off silly. There was two guys behind us that were actually laughing during this movie. I was close to telling them to shut the fuck up, but I don't know. I was just losing any sort of sense of excitement I had for this film. Now let's talk about Godzilla. I also like that he's a one-dimensional giant monster. But if he's going to be a one-dimensional giant monster that represents fear and, anguish and the fallout and destruction, make him scary. I was never scared of this thing. There was no build into this creature coming along. At the beginning, he's just there. He's just like hanging out in the woods. Like, hey guys, I'm gonna take you out, and then he leaves. And I wanted build, I wanted drama, I wanted that intensity. And people will argue and say there's plenty of drama, there's crying, there's sadness. Yeah. And for some people, it's going to work. For me, it didn't. It never felt genuine enough. And I don't think the director pushed the characters far enough. The third act is where it all falls to pieces. If the third act would have been great and it would have hit those marks, I would have said, yeah, this pushes it positive for me because there are plenty of positives in this film. It's not like I just completely shit all over it. I had a lot of nice things to say. What didn't work was the Disney-esque ending of season 3, which I won't get into, but I found the entire premise completely Looney Tunes. I thought it was bizarre and silly that these ships had to like crash against each other. The whole plot looked dumb as crap, how they were going to take care of Godzilla. And then there was a couple cop-outs where the drama really could have been pushed and it really would have been worth it to build this time with these characters, but instead they copped out on both of them. And I'll leave it there. Last thing I'll say about the movie before addressing some of this other stuff is there is destruction. There's not much of it. The scene where Godzilla is rampaging, pretty neat. We're kind of getting the thing we've seen in American versions where it's almost a voyeuristic shot off camera looking over at him. I wanted that to last much longer, and I wanted to really feel the fear that these people had. Instead, he's just abruptly there. Like this dude's always been present in their life. And I guess in a way that kind of makes sense with the symbolic nature of it, but it needed to be scarier. I needed to feel that feeling. The woman, for instance, in the train as it's braking, this lasts for maybe 15 seconds. She's up in the train, she's flipped, she falls down in the water. Completely kind of pointless scene. There was nothing really to that. I didn't have time to really fear for her. I just, yeah, a lot of it's just feeling and gut. And when I'm there and it's not moving the right way and the pacing is not hitting right, what do you want me to say? Now, the things that worked, Godzilla looked cool as shit. He looked really great. The special effects were awesome. The fact that this was a 15 million budget, incredible. Disney's throwing away hundreds of millions of dollars to make movies that don't even look this good. And again, I pointed out the boat chase sequence, which is about 15 minutes or so of the film. That was dynamite. If that was the movie, I mean, I really liked that small scale section where it was just this group of boaters against all odds trying to outrun Godzilla. Good stuff. Okay, let me see if there's any comments on the super chat side of things. If not, I will jump into the next section. What do we got here? Let's see. That guy, Matt, $5. Happy Friday, Adam, just for the support. Thank you, guy, Matt. Master Sergeant, shot out of a cannon, $10 super chat. You know you've made it in the big time when masses of people take a simple, opinionated comment with a movie and perceive it as a direct assault on their very souls. Yeah, there was a lot of that, but we'll get there. Tony from Hack the Movies for $10. I didn't see Godzilla -1 yet, but I gave it a 10 out of 10. It was a masterpiece. It was so good, bro. Bro, it was so good, bro. What? It was so good. Tony's being a little bit trolly here. He, again, there's a lot of fandoms out there. There's a lot of like really passionate fans. And I'll address it in a little bit, but when I reviewed Meg 2, The Trench, I did not like that movie. I thought it was pretty awful. And for some reason, when I posted the short to TikTok, there were hundreds of comments that all said the same thing. Like they were NPCs. It was just, bro, this movie was good. It was good, bro. Bro, it was good. It was good, bro. Over and over ad nauseum. We got one more here from Joseph Blasco for $74.37. Holy crap, Joseph. Thank you. Brought my pitchfork and torch. We'll put it away, Joseph. We're not here to string anyone up. We're here to try to understand each other and have a damn conversation for once. But thank you for the amazing support. You guys are awesome. Okay, let's get into the fun now. So the movie is about 75% in. I've taken my pee break because I have the bladder of a 95-year-old man. As I'm sitting down, I notice that my buddy Matt is squirming a lot. He's sighing a lot. I can just read his body language that he's not having a good time here. I'm I'm pushed past the point where I'm liking this movie now, and I just want it to be over. And so I turn to him and I go, "So this movie kind of sucks, huh?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, it sucks big time." I'm paraphrasing, but he said something more aggressive than what I even said, which is why I titled the video Godzilla minus one kind of sucks, because that's exactly what I said in the theater. Now let's get to the real thing people are outraged about. Oh no, I'm not there yet. Sorry, I keep jumping the gun. I'm so excited to get to this. After the movie is over, I say goodbye to Matt. He's got a long ride home, and I head on over to Target. It's a fancy way for saying Target. That's what we call it in this house. And I run into three friends of the channel that are locals that they just got back. Or no, they were just on their way to see Saltburn. The one gentleman had already seen it once before, and he loved it. I have not seen Saltburn yet. It's a A24 film. It looks interesting. Maybe I'll get to see it. I'm not sure. I don't have like a ton of time all the time to go to movies, unfortunately. But they were going to go to it again because and then he asked me what I saw, and I said I was a little down. I said Godzilla minus one, and he's like, "How was it?" And I said, "Not great." And he just looked bummed. He's like, "Oh man, I want to see it." I'm like, "Well, I mean, you might like it," is what I responded. And he said, "Yeah, I got tickets tomorrow." I said, "Well, yeah, absolutely go, of course. Let me know what you thought, because it's an opinion. And I don't hold my opinion above anyone else's. I'm just a regular freaking guy that can make mistakes as well. I mean, a mistake, I don't know. Is it a mistake? Your opinion a mistake? Maybe, whatever. It's debatable. And that's why I like having discussions about this. But then he asked me, "Hey, just out of curiosity, what did you think of Thanksgiving, the Eli Roth film? We saw it. They saw it a couple days ago, I think." And I said, "I really liked it." And he goes, "Really? I thought it sucked." I'm like, "Oh, wow." And we had this back and forth conversation for like 15 minutes about the movie. No one threatened anyone. No one, tried to dox the other person where they live. No one, it was just a regular dudes talking about films, which is exactly how I try to present myself on my YouTube channel. Now, some people will say, "Well, that's a lazy way of reviewing. You didn't write a script for this. You didn't come at this from an analytical perspective. You didn't use big words. You didn't go into the history of Godzilla and do your homework." And no, that's not what I want to do. I'm a 41-year-old adult with a family and a full-time job who likes seeing movies. So my channel is to represent basic bitches like myself who don't have time to be part of fandoms or don't have time to like get in the weeds in all these different movies. There's so many movies. And that's why there's a lot of YouTube channels and TikTok accounts and Twitters or whatever freaking X accounts that are dedicated to specific movie franchises, because we are at a point now where you can monetize based on your knowledge of one specific thing, and that has never interested me. I will fully admit that there is decent money to be made. There's really good money to be made specializing in one specific niche. But I don't want to do that. And it's cool if you do. It's cool if you're really into one thing. But I'm a variety is the spice of life kind of guy. I like to try out all sorts of different films and music and TV shows and see what sticks. And even if I'm not a huge Godzilla fan and I haven't been impressed with a lot of them coming out, when I see a trailer to a movie that I'm excited about, I'm going to give it a chance. And even if I see a trailer that I'm not excited about, I'm going to give it a chance. And sometimes those ones hit harder than anything else. Okay, we had a nice conversation. Now let's get to the Rotten Tomatoes. Let me see if anybody else has any thoughts first. We do have more. Master Sergeant's back. Got you, Joseph Blasco. For 7438 says Master Sergeant. Wow. Answers back? What is going on? That's awesome. Thank you guys. What a year it's been. These live streams have honestly propped up this channel so much. It's amazing. This isn't a huge channel, it's again, I've been doing it for a decade on and off. But this is great. Persistency. You just stay. Persistency, is that a word? Keep persistent. Okay, we got another one from Matt Sclero. There's my buddy. Just wanted to confirm that yes, people were laughing in the theater. That's Matt. He's the one that went with me. So feel free to go attack him, find his socials, do what you need to do, guys. Let's take him down. Thank you, Matt. Matt, by the way, special shout out to my buddy Matt. We met on YouTube, and I'll get into that. Well, I can kind of get there, but whatever. He met, I believe, because of either my Matrix review, because I said it sucked and I destroyed it, or my Avatar 2 review, which I also hated. These were two polarizing viewpoints at the time. I don't know if they still are. I don't think the Matrix is, but when the Matrix hit Rotten Tomatoes, it was at like, I want to say high 90s in the percentage for fresh. So Matt got me a going away gift because he's going back into work, which is going to take him on the road. He's not going to be able to see movies with me as much. So he got me this freaking awesome framed Matrix poster. I'm going to try to figure out a way to display it, or I'll maybe put it against that wall for when I do gaming streams so you can at least see it over there and appreciate it. And I can have Trinity and Neo and Morpheus all, smiling at me and saying, keep going, Adam. You're doing great. Thank you, Matt. You're awesome. Okay, Master Sergeant's back for $5. I take a lot of crap because of the cult who attacks the idea that all may dislike. In the end, dislike still means that I have my trilogy. Yeah, exactly. Master Sergeant, notoriously bad taste when it comes to liking the Snyderverse. I'm joking, man. I like Man of Steel. I will stand by Man of Steel. It's got flaws. A lot of every movie's kind of got flaws. I'm wearing a Jurassic Park shirt, by the way. It's my favorite movie of all time. People shit on that movie now. It's kind of fun to make fun of Jurassic Park. Is it perfect? No. But I love it. I have fond memories of the film. I can defend it like no other. And that's half of what movies are to a lot of people, is just that right place and that right time, just like music. You hear a good song on the radio, it'll instantly take you back to the year you listened to it. There's something special about that. Something special about that. Okay, we got one from $5 from Tyler A. Forti. Sorry if I mispronounced. Just one question then, because this is where all this traffic is coming from. How did you get confirmed with Rotten Tomatoes? Good question, Tyler. I'm actually going to address Rotten Tomatoes right after I get through these super chats. Aaron's rants and reviews for $5. Thank you, Aaron. $5 is hardly worth what you had to deal with. Haven't seen it, but people are comparing it favorably to Shin Godzilla, which I liked. So we'll see. I did not see Shin Godzilla, so I have no opinion on it at all. Life is Good gifted 5 Adam Does Movies memberships. Life is Good. That's awesome. For those of you that don't know, Adam Does Movies membership helps to support the channel. You instantly get access to 300 exclusive videos. There's a lot of silly stuff on there, me ranting about random things not having to do with movies. It's all very, it's all very sticky and over the top and fun, and don't take it serious. I joke a lot. I make fun of myself a lot on this channel. I know some people took offense to a couple of the comments I made in my Godzilla review. I don't know what to tell you. Humor is subjective. I sometimes go a little dark with my comedy. I apologize if I offended, but I'm not going to apologize for my views on the film. Joseph Blasco gifted 1 Adam Does Movies membership. Thank you, Joseph. Always a champion of the channel. What's this name? Sour Nuts for $1.99. Movie was great. If you like Godzilla, Movie was great. If you like Godzilla, I will like it. I'm not sure. Okay, so you saw it and you liked it, or it's got Godzilla, so you will like it. Either way, I'm glad you liked it. I wanted to like it. I don't go to movies to hate on movies. It's crazy, but I have to actually pay to go to movies. I don't get screeners to movies. I'm not some special critic that gets wined and dined at films. And I'm glad I'm not, because that would honestly skew some opinions. And if you don't think it does, then I don't know what to tell you. You're wrong. All right, let me go back to my notes and see what we have. Okay, Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go to Rotten Tomatoes. So Rotten Tomatoes seems to be a sticking point for a lot of people. And I think they're confused as to how Rotten Tomatoes works still in 2023, which is wild. But new generations rise up. I'm older now. I'm 41. I just turned 41, so this isn't not some spring chicken here. I grew up with I should say I grew up. I was around when Rotten Tomatoes came out. I've always wanted to be a certified critic on the website. Never really thought the day would happen, but it was always a dream of mine. As I got older, I never pursued it. I didn't really care. I didn't really think of myself as like a highly esteemed critic that should be on the platform. But after many years of doing the reviews and seeing what sort of people were actually getting certified on Rotten Tomatoes, I just kept thinking, you know what? I know more than that person, or I can express an opinion in a way I think that will reach people and resonate with a lot of people. Not everyone, of course. Entertainment's subjective, and this is all for fun. It's all entertainment at the end of the day. And so I submitted. You can submit like once a year or maybe a couple times a year. I'm not sure. A couple of people on my channel said, Adam, submissions are open. Why don't you shoot them a submission form and see what they do? And they accepted me, and that was awesome. I was like, okay, look at me. I got that fresh certification. That being said, I don't like Rotten Tomatoes. I don't like it. I don't like it from an optics standpoint. I think there's value in Rotten Tomatoes, but I think how people abuse it is really disgusting. Let me clarify. Rotten Tomatoes is binary. A movie's either fresh or it's rotten. I would say 85% of the movies I watch are neither fresh nor rotten. They're right in the middle. They're Goldilocks in this thing. And there's no option for middle ground on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is a huge mistake. But the whole thing's kind of set up to be that way, right? To get people generating buzz. And it's a great way to market a movie. Like, look at it, it's 97% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. But how many movies do you think are actually 100% amazing, perfect films with no flaws? I would say zero. But that's not even how the tomato meter works. 100% doesn't mean the movie is perfect. 100% means 100% of the certified critics thought it was better than it was worse. That's it. A 3 out of 5 can be fresh. A 2 out of 5 can be fresh. It just depends on what you submit. So when I go to Rotten Tomatoes, like I did right after I saw the film, I go home after I have a nice conversation with some fans at Target, which, by the way, put me at a really high level. I don't run into like fans of the channel often at all. This is not a huge channel by any means. I'm in South Carolina and kind of a middle of nowhere area. But that made me feel cool, not because people recognize me, but because the conversation was awesome. And one of the gentlemen, he's disabled. He's in a chair. He's unable to really talk. He's older. And as I was describing a movie that they didn't agree with, but he did, I could see him nodding along with me and really appreciating what I was saying. And that kind of that was awesome. It's like, okay, I am voicing an opinion that some people maybe can't voice. So they do turn to channels like mine and they can say, you know what, this guy is genuine. He might not be right. I might disagree with him 5 out of 10 times or more, but I know that he's speaking from the heart because he's not in anyone's pocket, because he has a full-time job, and because he just likes seeing movies and talking about them. That's really, at the end of the day, all I do it for, obviously, and so my wife can stay home now. Okay, I kind of lost my train of thought. All right, back to Rotten Tomatoes. I have the conversation with these guys. I go home. It's probably, I don't know, 9:30 at night. I film my review. Turn on the camera, fire up a 15-minute video. I've changed how I've done my videos lately. It used to be very heavily edited. I would say a couple lines. I would do a couple takes of it. I would think about things a little bit more, and then I would edit the shit out of it until you have like a tighter 6 to 7 minute video review. As of Wish, the Disney movie that sucked, I changed it and I thought, you know what? People seem to like my more organic, longer, free-flowing conversation because it feels like I'm talking directly to them or to you. And so I tried it out with Wish. People didn't complain, which means it's a win in my book. And the video did very well. So I decided to go with that going forward. And so this was the third or fourth attempt of me doing it. And I do think my Godzilla review, it definitely could have been more well thought out. I could have made my points more clear. But there's also the challenge of not spoiling things. This movie was brand new in theaters. I mean, it's actually, I don't even think it's out in American theaters fully. it's doing well. I think it's made a few $1 million already, which is great. I hope it does well. The director is very talented. I could see another Godzilla movie by him being really freaking good. I mean, if you didn't like this one, I could see the next one working a lot better with him at the helm, especially with that budget he had. Freaking awesome. Anyway, I could see some flaws with my review. And obviously my intro where, it's a little bit, it's over the top. I'm like, I'd rather watch the old Godzilla. I do stand by that. I think Godzilla minus one is, probably a better movie, just an overall better made film. But I would rather watch the schlocky 98 Godzilla movie rather than the slow, kind of boring Godzilla minus one. I have a better time with the cheesy one from the guy who made Independence Day. Independence Day is awesome. I like that. It hasn't held up very well, but I loved it back in the day. I saw it like 3 times in theaters. That said, I'm not going to watch either of them again. I mean, maybe I'll try to sit through it with my family, or my wife and kids can just watch it on their own at home when it's streaming. And because I want them to see it, I want them to try it out. I just don't want to drop 40 or $50 to go to the theater again with it. And my kids aren't like I was growing up. They love movies, and I've shown them some bangers, and they have their own opinions on films. But it's not like when we were growing up. I was so excited to go to movies. I was begging to see movies day one. It's not that way anymore. There's so much content released everywhere that I just don't think kids care like we did, at least like I did. Let's do a couple more super chats before I keep going. We have Jan Rose here for $5. Thank you, Jan. Good to see you. Such hateful comments. I'm so sorry. You're entitled to your opinion and your take. We're here for you and your honesty. You're doing great, Adam. Thank you, Jan. I appreciate that. Chris Robillard for $2. Zilla minus one was awesome. All caps. Glad you liked it, Chris. Really glad you liked it. Thanks for the super chat, dude. I can never say the name. Sour Nuts. $1.99. Thank you. I meant if you like Godzilla, you will like minus one. Okay. I don't hate Godzilla, but I didn't like minus one. But I think I see where you're going. If you're a big Godzilla fan, you're going to love this movie. That's fair. And that seems to be the general consensus based on the comments I've received. Christian Thacker for $1.99. Appreciate all you do, Adam. Keep being you. Thank you, Christian, very much. Okay, Joseph Blasco for $12.58. Joseph's on a roll. Thank you, Joseph. When you mix comedy with reviews, it can be tricky for some viewers, but I get your comedic style, so I love it. Yeah, comedy's hard, and it's not going to work for everyone. I am very dry, too. I have tried over the years to be a little bit more pronounced with my sarcasm. It doesn't always come off that way. What do you do? Listen, I don't have like a lot of amazing skill sets. I'm really good at drawing freehand, and I'm a damn fine graphic designer, front-end web developer. I'm good at that. I've been doing it a long time. But growing up, my biggest skill set was making people laugh, whether it's at my expense or at the expense of someone else, whatever. just trying to get some joy out of people. I think that's why my wife likes me, is I try to be funny and I try to have fun a lot. And it's not going to work for everyone. I understand that. But that's mainly why I do the show, is to entertain. Mickey, my friend, for $5. Thank you, Mickey. People have opinions. No one forced you to watch Adam's review. No one forced you to comment. You just can't regulate your own childish emotions. There is a lot of that going around. We will get there. Maybe we're there. Are we there? Maybe. Oh, I was going to say a few more things on Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is a collection of a lot of different people. It's not just the cream of the crop, intelligent, big words, sipping wine by a fire guys. The dude from Ratatouille is making a review. There is some of that for sure. In fact, the one that disliked Godzilla minus one alongside of me so far is one of those guys. I've liked his reviews and I've respected him for many, many years. I grew up with Siskel and Ebert. It's the reason I started my channel. RIP, of course. But yeah. My point is, there's not just the sophisticated ones. There's bloggers, there's TikTokers, there's website companies, and then there's assholes like me, YouTubers. Who has more weight? Who's more credible? Well, that's up to the viewer. That's up to the listener. But what I do like about Rotten Tomatoes, and this is me defending it a little bit, is that the score doesn't reflect how great a movie is. It reflects how all these different walks of life look at the film and decided to come together and say, you know what, this is better than it is worse. I think people are going to like this movie. It's good. I think it's good. I'm putting my stamp of approval on it. And so when you see a movie at 98%, you go, all right, look at all these different people that thought this movie was good or better than bad. That means that I'm going to have a decent to great time if I trust these critics, if I trust this consensus score. There's, of course, been a lot of, conspiracy theory, misinformation, whatever you want to call it, over the years about Rotten Tomatoes and whether critics get paid off. I think there was an article that did straight up admit that there was a studio that was paying for reviews. Or whether Rotten Tomatoes is silencing critics until a later time before their negative review shows up. There is stuff going on for sure. Now, for Godzilla -1, when I put my review up there, there were 33 reviews. 33 is nothing. There are hundreds of reviews that end up going up for most movies, most bigger tentpole movies. 33 is nothing. And from that 33, me being cynical and jaded and understanding how Rotten Tomatoes and how this industry works, realizes that they're going to be mostly positive because they have screeners to this early. And when studios get screeners ahead of time, it means that they're in the favor of the studio. They haven't made any pissing off motions in the past. And this is absolutely 100% true. I was invited onto Rotten Tomatoes channel last year. Yeah, they have a YouTube channel. And you can find this video. I debated a guy over Matrix 4, Matrix Revelations, or whatever the hell that garbage was called. And the email straight up told me, hey, Adam, we want you to come on and debate this movie, and you're going to take the negative side since we saw your YouTube video and you hated this film. I just want you to know, a lot of us in-house hated this movie too, but we are not allowed to say anything about it because we don't want to lose our Warner Brothers presser. That is the honest to God's truth. And I went on that thing and I freaking destroyed The Matrix because I have nothing to lose. And I hated that movie so bad as a big fan of the Matrix films. So when I see 33 reviews on the new Godzilla -1, I instantly think, okay, these could be genuine. People could really like this movie. Or these are the early access people that are more generous because they've seen this early. They got the red carpet treatment. They saw some of the actors. They saw the director. They got a tote bag. They got their photos taken. There is going to be some influence there. Now, I'm not discrediting it. They could fully be 100% genuine and they all just thought it was great or they thought it was good, and that's perfectly fine too. But I'm just telling you from my mindset that 100% didn't bother me, and I didn't think I was burning a bridge or scorching earth on a fandom. I didn't know of a fandom. At this point now, I just assume everything has one. And I know Godzilla's been around forever, but you have to understand that I don't live online and I'm not in these different circles. There's a Sonic the Hedgehog fandom, and it's crazy. There's a Five Nights at Freddy fandom. Harry Potter, of course. I got a Harry Potter castle. I love Harry Potter. I've been to Universal. I love the rides. I'm a big fan. I don't like the Fantastic Beasts movies. They're garbage, but I'm not a Potterhead. I don't go on the message boards. I'm not on Reddit, or I don't honestly know how fandoms even work, to be honest with you. I don't get it. I'm too old and out of touch, I guess. I do know this. My review is honest and sincere, and I assumed because I've never had any issues before on Rotten Tomatoes that no one would give a shit about me. Because no one gives a shit about me normally. So yeah, I dropped the score from 100 to 97%. And the fact that it dropped 3% from one person's review should kind of tell people that maybe there's not enough consensus yet when one man can damage a movie 3%. That means there's not a lot of reviews in yet. Now, I know as of saying this, it's jumped back to 97%. There's, 50 reviews, 60 reviews, 70 at this point. And me and more or whatever, we're like on a rock by ourselves. And I'm fine with that. I think that it's good to have different viewpoints and different expectations for people. If everyone is in the same echo chamber, what's the point at all? And if you're in a fandom and you just want to hear good comments and good reviews and no criticism or just tame criticism, but overall you still keep your score at a positive, then why do you care at all? In my review, I opened up by saying, after my snarky intro, I opened up by saying, I'm not a Godzilla guy. I'm a movie guy. I like movies. If you like Godzilla, you'll probably like the movie. It's got cool action. It's got the kaiju doing shit. I mean, the effects are top notch, great sound design. All the elements are there. And so I don't even know what else to say. Like, I was very upfront. I spent a stupid amount of time, actually, several minutes, kind of like leading into my review. Okay, I probably lost a point or two there at some, but that's how Rotten Tomatoes works. That's why I do think it is a useful tool. Now, people will abuse the tool, like they have been, by saying, Adam, you're by yourself. If you think that score is not going to go down over time, you're wrong. It will go down more. It has nowhere to go but down. And as it opens up to more critics and as more people see it, you'll see the numbers drop. You'll see more people not like the film, because we all have opinions and tastes. All right, there's more super chats. Let's get to them. One take for $4.99. Just saw the movie. Looking forward to watching a review. I liked it, but enjoy hearing opinions that differ from mine. Crazy, I know. Thank you, One Take. I appreciate that. I am glad you liked the movie. Chris Taggart for $1.99. Thank you, Chris. Been watching you for years, Adam. Love your stuff. I appreciate that. Kelvin and Hobbes representation. Sour Nuts is back for $1.99. Love the show, Adam. Keep it up. Thank you. Go Boston Red Sox. That's his icon. Zimzilla99 for $10. Super chat. Thank you, Zimzilla, if I'm saying that right. Gonna be doing a live stream on the channel about your review on video. Would love to debate you like you did on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, that would be cool. I'll do that with you. Just let me know. You can hit me up on, well, I don't know how we can set this up. You can hit me up on Twitter. The artist formerly known as Twitter, X. Just send me a private message or friend me on there, and then we can set it up. Okay, Alex Douthright for $2 super chat. I have nothing to say, but I love Uncle Buck. Hell yeah, Uncle Buck is awesome. R.I.P. John Candy. Okay. Let's see. Let me go through my beautiful notes here. Oh, I had one. Okay, let's talk about fandoms. I briefly touched on them, but I just want to say something else. I would love for the Godzilla community, the ones that, not even the ones that came on my channel and said, hey, you're wrong. For instance, I wrote down 10 or 11 quotes from my YouTube channel that I can address that are substantive. The top comment on there with like 600 likes said, what an awful take. It was a fantastic film and probably the greatest Godzilla film ever made, and I will die on that hill. I have no problem with this comment. It's his opinion. He's criticizing me. I'm a movie critic. If I'm giving criticism, I have to be able to take criticism. Again, I've been doing this a very long time. Someone saying my opinion sucks, that's perfectly acceptable. I say movies suck. Granted, obviously there's a floor to that. There's a ceiling and a floor to that. I don't go to the director. This is the different mindset that I have. And it just, again, it might be just the time period I grew up in. I wouldn't go to an actor's Instagram, for instance, or a director's Instagram or TikTok or whatever and say, hey, your movie sucked. Or, hey, you should die. You should kill yourself. Actors get that all the time. Directors, I'm sure, get that all the time too. Well, Rian Johnson, I know, got that all the time. I hated Star Wars The Last Jedi. I would never go to Rian Johnson and say, hey, you ruined Star Wars, you suck. So I do kind of even have, I don't have an issue with it, like going to someone and saying your content sucks, but I think it is kind of poor form. But I understand, there's passions, whatever. We all have to voice our opinion somehow. So yeah, if you don't have a microphone, and you can't build one on your own, then just go in the chat and say, you know what, you suck. That's fine. Okay. My point here is there's reasonable comments, and then there's the stuff I got more on, I'd say, X than in YouTube. But if you go in the YouTube comments, there's some really awful things in there. People, again, trying to dox me. They're telling me to die. They're calling me a bad dad. It's just crap. I want those fans that were doing that to understand that you are in an echo chamber, and there are people that just want to watch a movie and don't necessarily have to appeal to you. So when I made my review and I said Godzilla -1 kind of sucks as the title, and on the thumbnail I said Godzilla minus fun, people said it's clickbait. You're trying to piss us off. You're trying to feed us. You're trolling us. That wasn't at all what I was doing. What I was doing, well, first off, Godzilla minus fun is accurate. The movie's not fun. It's supposed to be a somber, sad, miserable experience with a, morality and a celebration of the human spirit, right? But it's not fun. So there's nothing inaccurate about that. The title kind of sucks. This is me trying to reach out to people that see this movie and feel the same way. And so when they Google on YouTube, or they go on YouTube and say, Godzilla -1 sucks, my video shows up. That's the person I'm trying to communicate with. I'm trying to pull that person in. I didn't even think about a Godzilla fandom that I was attacking with this. That was not my intention. I don't care about the Godzilla fandom. I don't know shit about Godzilla, obviously, right? I know he's a radiation lizard. He's a giant monster who terrorizes and sometimes befriends the humans and fights other creatures. It kind of, there's different versions, there's different adaptations and whatnot. That's fine. Outside of that, though, I don't know the lore. I don't know the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. I don't know the Pizzagate owning the libs lore of Sound of Freedom. There's so many things. And when you have all that stuff to deal with, that's pointless. And if you think you're alone, you're not. So when I put out a review for Fast and the Furious 10, I didn't like the movie. I thought it was dumb and long and loud and just completely ridiculous. There's 10 Fast and the Furious movies. Does a Fast and the Furious fan need to listen to me or even go on Rotten Tomatoes for a review of Fast 10? If they liked Fast 9 and 8 and 7 and 6, they're probably okay going to this and they know what to expect. I'm just giving out opinion for people that maybe don't know what to expect and want to actually listen to what someone thought about it. Okay, I liked some of the Fast and the Furious movies. I'm on the fence about this one. What does this guy have to say? Oh my God, it's 2.5 hours long. Oh my God, people, there's no physics. They say family 1,000 times. It's super cringy. Yeah, I think I'll avoid this one. Or at least he gave me a heads up. Now, another thing is, I don't think I've ever said more than maybe 3 times on my channel for people not to go watch a movie. It just doesn't happen. I would never tell someone not to see something unless it's like maybe Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, at which point I would say like, hey, maybe don't waste your money on this cash grab. It's not worth it. I'm not even sure if I said it then, but I'm just saying it's rare when I'll ever say don't see a movie. And I certainly didn't say that for Godzilla -1 because I just had a feeling. I had a feeling when I was watching this film that I might be in the minority on this one because the pieces were all there for a great film, but they did not hit for me. Okay, let's go to the second comment on, actually, let me check out Super Chats first before I get too far in the weeds. We have one from Life is Good for $20. Thank you, Life is Good. I would just like to say I loved your kamikaze jokes. They were awesome. Also, if people don't like what you say, there's about 1 billion other channels to watch. To the offended with respect. Yeah, okay. I'm glad you liked it. Like, I thought it was funny too. Of course, I was called a racist for. It's always something, right? I was called a I was called a sexist for not liking the Ghostbusters movie, the all-female one. I was called a racist for thinking the new Little Mermaid trailer looked like shit, even though I complimented Halle Bailey and thought she looked great and sounded great and probably is the only good thing about that miserable remake. I don't like any of the Disney remakes, but I'm a racist, of course. There's always going to be the extreme attacks. I'm called a racist from a few people. That kind of rolls off me, but I thought it was really silly in this case because I just made a dark joke, black comedy sort of thing. The main character is a kamikaze. And so I go, that's kind of one of the only professions you can't fake, right? Kamikaze, you come home at the end of the day and the wife's like, how was work? And then he kind of makes something like, it was fine. Oh, really? Then why are you still here? That was the joke. I don't see how that's racist. You can say insensitive, sure. I mean, it was a long time ago. We make 9/11 jokes. We make jokes about, I remember South Park made jokes about the crocodile hunter like a day after he died. And I laughed at those. And I thought the crocodile hunter was a really cool dude and really special guy. But I could still use the twisted part of my brain and laugh about it. I don't know what else to say. Like, if you don't like the joke, that's fine. I'm not a racist for it though. You just need to calm down. Thank you, Life is Good. I'm glad you liked the sick humor. Shadow humor for $5. Godzilla greater than Kong. Shots fired from Shadow humor. Thank you for the super chat. You're wrong. Kong is better than Godzilla as far as movies go. Kong is batting far better. Although Godzilla has far more movies, to be fair. Stuff like games for $2. You can't come on Cadzilla anymore. You ruined Rotten Tomatoes. Johanna with a beautiful $2 super chat. Thank you, Johanna. I always thought you and I had a nice rapport the few times we met, and I've seen some of your salty comments on X, and I was like, you know what, Johanna, I like your stuff. But you know what? After this absolute disgusting attack against me, I don't know if I agree. Go subscribe to Hack the Movies. Johanna's over there. Tony's over there. I go over there like once a month. I was on the Cadzilla podcast where we talked about a really bad Godzilla movie. I always forget the name of the dude, and I call him a Power Ranger, and it insults people. He kind of looks like Turbo Man. Godzilla fans know who I'm talking about, and they're, again, mad at me. Thank you. Stuff like games. Johanna. Zimzilla99 for $9.99. Just started the stream. DM'd you like, oh, what? Dude, I can't do it now. I'm not going to debate you now while I'm doing my own stream. I thought you meant like in another day. I'm so sorry if I misunderstood that. Yeah, no, I'm not going to jump into a freaking debate right now, buddy. I apologize, but if you want to have me on, I will, I'll tell people where to go and they can watch. Disaster. Hack the Movies for $5. There's Tony. Disregard Johanna. You are now my only co-host on Cadzilla versus the Pod Monster. There it is. The yin and the yang. Tony, big Godzilla fan. Adam hates all things Godzilla. We're going to clash. It's going to be epic. Why am I getting a phone call? Hang on. What is this? Hello? Hello? And they hung up. Telemarketer. I kind of like to talk to him, but I guess it's not going to happen. I was hoping for maybe one of those like, hey, your computer has a virus, some malware, and we could have had a whole thing, but it didn't work out. Joseph Blasco's back for $18.11. This guy. Fine, you win. But what about Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla? Oh, great song. Seasons. Oh, no, that's Reaper. I was going to do. Oh, no. There goes Tokyo. Look out, Godzilla. That's a great song. I butchered it, but it's a great song. I was going to do Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult, a better song. Okie, feel that. $1.99. Adam, you're the man. Your reviews are always honest. Thank you. They might not always be right, but they're always honest. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. All right, we are on comment 2 out of 11 I put down here. We'll get through these quick, though. All right, here's what this person said. Bro absolutely did this for attention. I'm bro, and I did it for attention. He saw it was at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and saw that as his chance to stand out with the only negative review out of 33 at the time. The characters were amazing, and the story was well-paced. It's a very grounded film, and deals with the horrors of death, destruction, and war. Everything on that is perfectly fine except for the absolute bullshit intro where he says, I did it for attention. Again, no one pays attention to me, especially on Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't think there was a crazy fandom that was going to get upset about it. It's sad and pathetic. Side note, one dude, this is how pathetic some of these people have been. One dude took a literal shit in a toilet and took a photo of it and then sent it to me on all my different social platforms and said, "Oh, you like he said you like shit, so why don't you review mine?" That was his joke. And then he sent me this disgusting photo on all my platforms. Another guy went on my Discord server, and maybe I already talked about this. Sorry, let me move on. I got to move past it. I'm so sad for people. I'm really honestly just sad for people. And when you get all that hate like 48 hours in a row, it does wear you down. I wasn't like depressed, but fuck. Like, I have thick skin. I've been doing this game for a long time, been attacked by a lot of different fandoms over the last couple of years. They've kind of surged in the last since COVID. But this one was particularly ugly. And all because of the Rotten Tomatoes score. Such a superficial nonsense thing to get upset about. And I'm honestly like, it's great to have a group of people that you can join in with. I can understand and I can totally see how fandoms can be fun. Maybe it's not the right word. Is it fandoms? Fans, fan clubs, get-togethers, hangouts, fan hangouts, whatever it is. I don't know what Godzilla fans call themselves. We don't need to speculate. It'll just become insulting. But there's a hive mind mentality that can get really dangerous. And I just think people need to kind of think outside of the bun, outside of their sphere, at what the rest of the world is maybe looking at. All right, number 3 on here, from the only guy who liked the Marvels. Ah, yes, the ad hominem attack. These are my favorite. There were so many comments saying like, "Well, what a surprise from the guy that loved the Marvels, who thought the Marvels was a perfect film." It's always such a ridiculous overstatement on something. You can go watch my Marvels review if you want. These are completely different movies for completely different feelings and audiences. The Marvels presented itself as a family movie, I would say. A pretty silly, light, dumbass adventure for the whole family. It's an hour and 40 minutes long. It's like getting some McDonald's, and it tastes just fine. Is it good for you? No. Is it well made? Absolutely not. But I still go there once in a while and get myself a sausage McMuffin with egg, even though I'm gluten-free because I have celiacs and I shouldn't be eating the gluten, but damn it, it's good. So I will get that gluten-filled sausage and egg McMuffin. I'll get a large Coke and I will have myself a smile. And maybe I'll pop on the Marvels and watch Brie Larson look pretty damn hot and see a very fun Kamala Khan and just have like this dumb little experience, like watching a Saturday morning cartoon. Do you guys remember when we used to watch cartoons? Maybe you still do. Maybe we're adult enough to admit that not everything has to be this Christopher Nolan-esque, smart, sharp, cinematic masterpiece. That was a term I heard getting thrown around a lot. Cinematic masterpiece. You're perfectly fine to say that about Godzilla. I don't think it's going to stick for a lot of people, but in the Godzilla community, fine. That's cool. So yeah, saying that I like the Marvels is the most silly, dumb, petty shit you can do. And the funny part is, I don't know if I said it in the review. I definitely knew it was going to happen though. You just get a feeling. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go watch the Marvels. I'm sure it's going to be hot trash. I didn't like Captain Marvel. I thought Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Shitia was just absolute dreck. Thor Love and Thunder was garbage. There seems to be no reason that this would be any good. And I had a good time with it. It was fun. It was light. It moved quick. There was action. An amazing movie? No, absolutely not. But again, Rotten Tomatoes, it's a 1 or a 0. And I found myself having a good time more than hating the thing, and I could easily watch it again. It's a fast food experience. And with Godzilla minus one, I wanted to leave the experience. I wanted to get off the ride. We can have our opinions and takes. You don't have to agree with me. Yeah, I like the Marvels. It was fine. I like a lot of I like a lot of Marvel movies. I think a lot of people do, but now it's the cool edgy thing to say, "Oh, it's an MCU Disney fan." Not really. Some of them work, some of them don't. Lately, a lot of them haven't been working. The Disney Plus TV shows are embarrassing. They're mostly all garbage. But early Marvel was fantastic. I'm pretty sure a lot of people lined up to see Endgame. I'm pretty sure a lot of people loved Spider-Man No Way Home. I wasn't even in that camp. I thought it was good, but I thought there was a lot of bad parts to that movie. Yeah. So the attacking me for liking certain films from the past is just it's a non-starter. It's silly. Every single person likes a movie that other people don't. And if you say that you don't, you're not one of those people, you're lying to yourself. I'm sure you have a film that maybe you haven't even said out loud that you're embarrassed by, that you think, man, this movie's great. Why did it only get 30% on Rotten Tomatoes? And think of all the other fandoms out there that you've pissed off with your opinions. Think of the Snyder fans that you've insulted because you didn't like one of their movies, or the Sonic fans. These are the ones that come to mind right away because they've all been pissed at me in the past. You're always going to upset someone else. Take yourself out of your mindset and put yourself in someone else's. I don't care is the thing. I don't care about that shit. I'm just here to talk about a movie, and you can debate me and we can have a back and forth, or you can just simply listen, shake your head no, and walk away, or don't look at all. Because spoiler, I was nice enough to put on my title, I don't like this movie. I didn't welcome Godzilla fans in with open arms. I pushed them away. I repelled them. But they came. That's not my fault. Number 4, he may not have watched the film. This is what someone put on YouTube. And this is, again, I picked comments that there were lots of. And these aren't the mean ones. These are the ones that there was just a bunch of that I want to address. I'm ignoring all the horrible shit that people said, mainly on X. Absolutely pathetic people. He may not have watched the film. This is just racing to be the first negative review. Super weak. I watched the film. I think I've proven that. If you still don't believe me, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I want to stay vague. I don't want to give away the ghost. I thought the ending with the ships and how they try to kill Godzilla was really dumb. I'll go as far as that. Okay, another one here. Honestly, I just watched his opening statement comparing it to 98, and that was enough. That guy is a troll saying controversial stuff to drive engagement to his channel. Roger Moore also gave it a poor review, and though I disagree with his opinion, I'm familiar with that reviewer, and I'm sure that was his legitimate review, but this guy is more of a YouTuber than a reviewer. I grew up, yeah, okay. I've already, again, I kind of covered this, so I don't really need to go into it. I do agree with them. Roger Moore is a better critic than me. He's a better movie critic than me. And I say that with respect to Roger Moore. This is his thing. This is what he's been doing his whole life. He definitely is more knowledgeable about movies than I am. I don't claim to be an expert movie critic. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen that are kind of timeless classics. I've never seen Taxi Driver, for instance. I have a lot of people in my community that get very upset when I tell them I haven't seen a specific movie. And, you know, they're like, Adam, what the fuck? Watch this movie. I just watched Point Break for the first time. I'd never seen Point Break, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And there's a lot of movies I've seen. There's a whole lot of movies I've seen. I have a pretty big depth of knowledge when it comes to films, but I don't pretend to be like, oh yeah, this 1940s film, this black and white classic with so-and-so in it that was made on a budget of $7 and a stick of gum. Yeah, that's a great one. No, that's not me. That's not me. All right, here's another. Well, let me go to Super Chats before I get through the rest of these. What do we got here? This is from Shadow Humor again for $5. He's really upset about my Godzilla slander, I should say. Godzilla is stronger than Kong. He beat the fuck out of him in Godzilla versus Kong. That's true. That's true. I actually don't even know who won that fight. I think at the end of the day, we were all winners, right? Because we got to watch such a beautiful, magnificent film play out in front of us. I know I finished it, but I couldn't tell you who won the fight. Wasn't Mecha Godzilla in there at one point? So they're both like, "Oh, let's fight him instead." Oh, God, these movies. Username for 279. Thank you, username. BVS is still the best film of all time. Hail Snyder. In Lord Snyder, these guys trust. I don't know if he's silly, if he's joking with this. He put it in all caps, which typically means you're serious. BVS is not good. I was actually, I think, nicer on BVS than a lot of people. I thought it was a complete shit show, but I did see some of the pros in it. Again, I wouldn't have scored it a positive on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think I was certified at the time that movie came out. That would have been a rotten for me for sure, but it wasn't all bad. Snyder is really good with the camera. I will always respect Snyder as a filmmaker, as a cinematographer. I think he's top notch. What I don't like about Snyder is his writing. I think when he writes movies, it's a complete disaster. The guy needs to direct, get his face behind that camera, and keep shooting because he does it well. Master Sergeant for $5. Thank you, Master Sergeant. Good job. I don't see how the haters who might have stayed to watch this can still be extremist against you. Keep being Adam Integrity. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep being Adam Integrity. Keep being Adam Integrity. That's what I've been known as my whole life. Oh, there's Adam Integrity walking down the street. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like there's a lot of people watching still, and it's definitely not the usual people watching. So I do hope that I'm clarifying a little bit. I don't know. I get really passionate about movies. I just don't get worked up to the point where I start kind of throwing insults at other people. But I see the passion, at least. I can appreciate the passion. It's what's happening with it that I disagree with. Mississippi Wildlife, $5 super chat. Thank you. Adam doesn't have to like the movie. Get over it. Yeah, that's well said. That's fair. Joseph Blasco for $5. Thank you, Joseph. Gotta say, I had no idea that fire-breathing bastard had such an army. Happy for him. I don't actually know what that means. Fire-breathing bastard. Did I miss something? I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Is this a Godzilla thing? I mean, he emits gamma radiation. Oh, that is what you mean. Okay, I see. The Godzilla army of fans, of super fans. Yes, Joseph, I'm with you now. It took a moment to click. Shadow Humor, $5. The Matrix Reloaded is one of the best action movies of all time. I agree with you, sir. I agree with you. Matrix Reloaded? Oh man, this is one of my favorite parent moments of all time. A couple of years ago, my daughter's 14 now, but when we watched The Matrix, I think she was probably 12. Yeah, I want to say 12. I was like, Olivia, we got to watch the Matrix movies. My son is a few years younger, so I did this with him separately when he got older. He's now 11. He's 11. So we got burritos. We came to the house, and her and I sat on the couch. We ate burritos. We ate some Chipotle, and we watched the living shit out of The Matrix. And she was freaking floored. And then we did it again the next day with Reloaded, and then we did it the next day with Revolutions. And she loved all of them. I'm not big on Revolutions. I have calmed on it over the years. It's still the worst easily for me, and we don't talk about 4. Matrix 4 is absolute dung, but I mean that trilogy is special to me. I love it. And Matrix Reloaded, yeah, that's got a lot of good action. We got one more from Dunkin' Donuts. Ooh, but it's spelt a little different. I like that. $10 super chat. I ain't gonna justify fans, but the whole tone in your review was in attack mode. So the few fans that did stumble across your review were also going to go in attack mode. Sorry this happened to you. Duncan, I mean, I wholeheartedly disagree. I thought it was incredible. I will agree with you that my intro was definitely pretty intense. You know, like Godzilla 98's schlocky, dumb, loud, bad characters. But I think I would rather watch that than Godzilla minus one. I will agree that that's a baller way to start a review, but also it's a way to hook people into listening what I had to say. And I would truly rather watch the 98 movie again because it's at least schlocky, dumb fun instead of a boring snore fest like Godzilla minus one was for me. For me. But I don't think I was in attack mode the rest of the movie. I actually listened back to my review yesterday because I wanted to make sure that I didn't say anything like wildly off base. I was very nice. And I gave the movie a lot of compliments sprinkled into that 11-minute meander fest. There was plenty of compliments in there. And I said that a lot of Godzilla fans will be, I'm pretty sure I said a lot of Godzilla fans will be happy. And they're not going to listen to me. They don't need to listen to me. So I disagree with you. I was not in attack mode. You might just not, you guys don't know me. A lot of people just came. They didn't even watch the review. I guarantee you a large portion. I have the analytics. I can see the amount of people and how long they watched for. A big chunk of people saw that title. They saw that thumbnail. They maybe watched 30 seconds and they just left a nasty comment and left. A lot of people from TikTok or from Twitter, and you can see it in the comments. I didn't watch the review, just came to give it a dislike. I didn't watch the review, but I'm excited to watch the fans scorch him and bury him and own him and do whatever to embody him. Get him removed from Rotten Tomatoes. Shut his channel down. I'm reporting him to YouTube for hate speech. Give me a break. Kyle Nelson for $2. I am Sofa King. We taught it. I am Sofa King. We taught it. I don't know what that means. I am so fucking I don't know, Kyle. Thank you for the $2. My reading comprehension might be off today. I'm not getting it. Joseph Blasco for $2. Thank you, Joseph. I knew you would get there. Kyle Nelson, $5 super chat. JK just changing the mood. Keep up the good work. Love the channel. Thank you, Kyle. Making my friend for $2. These comments prove we're doomed. It's a movie. It is. It's a movie. And Joseph, once again, gifting one Adam Does Movies membership to one lucky viewer on the channel. Okay, let's move on. Okay, number 6 here. This is one that a few people said. It's weird how you liked... Actually, no one else said this but this person, but I thought this was a good point. It's weird how you liked Oppenheimer, but not this. I feel like you need the same media literacy to like both. It's like complaining how Oppenheimer is an idiot that makes contradictory statements, which is the point. So I found Oppenheimer to be a fascinating character study on a horrific time period where different countries are at war in the science field to see who can come up with the most deadly, disgusting device on the planet to wipe each other out potentially. It had a awesome pace to it. I was constantly on the edge of my seat. Nolan is a master at playing with music and timing it with dialogue. And he made something that seems so kind of like lame, I guess. Just a lot of characters talking in rooms, 12 Angry Men style, and moving you along through this narrative. I also like that he kind of plays with time in his movies, so it's not super linear. There's ways to keep you interested without boring you. And I never found myself bored in Oppenheimer. I was on the edge of the seat the whole time. The craft was on display, and it was a brilliant film. Again, Godzilla minus one had a lot of these elements and they could have worked, but they didn't work for me. They didn't. It didn't have enough. The dialogue in Godzilla minus one is not witty. A lot of the characters are honestly the same cliche characters you see in pretty much all of these disaster movies. You have the guy that's the failed, pilot deserter who needs to turn his life around and get over the war going on his head. You have the scientist who is trying to convince the group that this needs to be done and it's extreme and it's not going to, or it's going to work. There was actually a really, I thought, cheesy section of the film where the scientist is like, listen, this can work. And the guy's like, well, how is it like a for sure going to work? And the guy's like, I can't say for sure. And then the dude's like, oh, what are we gonna do? And all I'm thinking is, dude, what's your suggestion? You have nothing. This scientist is coming up with this cockamamie scheme, but at least he's got something. And it doesn't just stop with one exchange. It goes back and forth several times where he's like, yeah, but are you for sure this is gonna work? It made the protagonist look so stupid. Nothing is 100% in life. And there were a bunch of parts like that where the dialogue was just, it didn't feel organic. It felt just kind of schlocky. And then there's the Independence Day moment, and then there's a bunch of stuff. Whatever. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Number 7, a day late. Okay, this is another comment from YouTube. A day later, and I'm still really irritated by this review. I know it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but as a Godzilla fan who's used to this franchise getting shit on, I'm not happy that he robbed it of its perfect score. I'm unsubscribed. If you can't see any of the good things about this movie, I can't take him seriously. How can you shit on these characters? These are some of the strongest characters in this type of movie. Unbelievable. I don't think he was ever subscribed, but I really don't know how I could prove that. I don't care to look. I just, usually when they say like, I'm unsubscribed from you, I typically go, okay, well, how, like one movie review and that's it, you're out. Like, oh, I was with him on all these other ones, but this is the one that broke the camel's back. This is the one that did it. Not happy about being robbed its perfect score. Are we 5? You really need this movie to sit at 100%? What does that get you? Participation award? This is the most childish shit I've ever heard. And I hope that some of these comments are from younger people, and this can be kind of like a dad talking to his kids scenario where I'm just saying, like, listen, it's an arbitrary number on a website. It's nothing. If you love the movie, you love the movie. That's great. Guess what? 98% or 97% is freaking fantastic. I don't know if there's even, is there any movies that are at 100% Rotten Tomatoes? I don't know. Maybe there is. It's probably some random ass film that only has like 10 people who reviewed it. You're not going to see a movie at 100% that's got 400 critics on the thing. It's just not going to happen. And if it does, you're talking about like a 1 in a million. Maybe I'm wrong. You could prove me wrong on that because I'm pulling that out of my ass. But I just have a feeling that's not the case. Number 8, the movie was great and definitely one of the best Godzilla movies ever, if not the best. That's perfectly fair to say. This is a very odd review. It's so weird to be extremely impressed by the trailer, to come out of the movie thinking it sucked, when the specific movie was the rare... This is a mess. When this specific movie was one of the rare movies that pretty much delivered on the trailer. I disagree. The trailer I saw showed nothing of the story. It only showed Godzilla destroying stuff. That was the movie presented to me. And that doesn't even matter. So what if a trailer hoodwinked me and this was a drama? The drama didn't work. I've had multiple movies where the trailers were shit and the movie was great. One that comes to mind right away, and this is one that I know, and this is another one where I was in the minority on the opposite side. I freaking love Speed Racer. I know that that's maybe an awful stance to take, but I love Speed Racer. I think this movie's so unique, and I'm not even a fan of the anime original. I just dug it. I love the colors. I love the vibrancy. I love the speed of it. I love the emotion behind it. It just had a lot of heart and it had a lot of fun, and that it all kicked in. I love it. I've seen it probably 7 times. I think it just sounds awesome. It's like a Mario Kart film on speed. That movie got shit on by critics. I don't actually know what my point was. Oh, the trailers look terrible for Speed Racer. They looked atrocious. One on the other end, I thought the trailer for what is that movie? It's a book. Oh, now I'm gonna forget the name of it. Where the Wild Things Are. I thought the trailer for Where the Wild Things Are was really fucking good. Very emotional, beautiful score, and the movie was so sluggish, so boring, so pointless. People love that movie too. I did not like that movie. And the trailer, I thought, presented something else. or at least it hooked me into thinking it was going to be a little bit more exciting, a little bit more adventurous, a little bit more dramatic than it was. Okay. So yeah, that you're just completely wrong. A lot of trailers get it right or get it wrong, in my opinion. What that's so weird. What a weird thing to say. I can't believe you didn't like. You loved the trailer. How do you not like the movie? That's crazy. And also to mention again, to reiterate for the 50th time, I gave Godzilla -1 a good amount of compliments. Basically, everything but the story worked for me, and some of the characters being over the top or a little bit much, in my opinion. Okay, here's another comment. You admitting that you prefer the 98 version better than -1 speaks volumes. I was actually bothered for a minute by this reviewer, and then I realized, my God, how can I shit on a guy with this little awareness and imagination? Favorite band? Let me guess. Three Doors Down or Sister Hazel? Go get 'em, pal. Enjoy your white toast and khaki pants. I actually think this comment's funny. That's why I put it in there. I don't really, I don't have any problem with this one. I think it's kind of funny. I don't like Three Doors Down. The Superman song I thought was annoying, or Kryptonite, not a fan. I never liked that song. Sister Hazel, I don't actually know. I've heard the name of the band before, but I don't know what they sing. I'm sure if you played some Sister Hazel, I would know and probably be like, oh, that's fine. But no, they're not favorite bands. Favorite bands of mine, maybe basic for some people. I really like Jimmy Eat World. I was a big fan of Jimmy Eat World when I was in college, and they've kind of stuck with me. Some of their newer stuff's not very good. Billy Talent, I think, is a great rock band. They're from Canada. Canada's got a lot of good bands. Our Lady Peace is from Canada. They used to have some banger albums. Their new stuff is garbage, but their early stuff, their first like 5 albums are really good. And Billy Talent, I think they're just awesome. I like a lot of, hard rock, metal, whatever you want to call it, classify it. Metallica, obviously, not the newer stuff, but everything but the last couple albums. Metallica, Megadeth, I like. We don't have to keep going down this rabbit hole. I like Linkin Park. I'm a big Linkin Park fan. That's probably as basic as it gets. Linkin Park and Fight Club, about as white as a guy can get, and that's okay. I like what I like, and that's probably why it's a cliche. Let's see if there's any more super chats. Did I dip Mickey's here for $2? These comments prove we're doomed. It's a movie. I think I got that one, but just to make sure, thank you, Mickey. I think I got the gifted membership from Joseph. Thank you, Joseph. Oh, fix your hair, says Lord GMK. What's wrong with my hair? Is it long or is it just? I don't know what to do. My hair grows really freaking fast. I just it's really hard, and dropping $50 a haircut, that's a bit much. I used to buzz it when I was young, when I first started the channel. You can see some older videos and I look just hideous, more so with the shaved head. It's not a good look on me, and I did it for many years, and my wife claims she liked it, but I don't know why she would think that. Yeah, my hair is not great today. I don't know what to say. I do have Invisalign to fix my jagged teeth at the bottom. I try to hide it as much as possible, but it's a mess. I'm on day 5 of Invisalign. It's not going great, and I have to do this for like a year. I have them out right now, but I still have like the studs in my teeth. It's just terrible. Who's messaging me? Okay, let's keep going. Fix your hair. Master Sergeant for $2. Hair's fine. I'm bald now at 51. Okay. Godzilla ones are so fucking retarded. He does it again. Godzilla fans are so fucking retarded. I don't know what any of that means. Thanks, Kyle, for $2. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. I don't really think I have much more to say. Yeah, that was about it. I don't need to read anymore. I said enough. I hope that was a little bit more illuminating. Maybe not. I'm not going to bring this up anymore. I think that I said everything I need to say. Hopefully it gave you a little bit more insight, and maybe some of you think, okay, you know what? This guy was being genuine. He just didn't like a movie I liked, and that's fine. Yeah, any more final thoughts? Feel free to let me know in the super chat. We'll move on with our lives and we'll get past this. Joseph asking, you twitching tonight? He asked for $2. No, I'm not going to jump on Twitch tonight. It's getting pretty late. This went longer than I thought it was going to, honestly. Thank you for the question and for the super chat. No, I'm gonna call it an early night. It's been a long last couple days. Just work's been really busy, not because of this stuff. Work's been very busy. It's been a crazy week. What's coming up on the channel? I do have to do 2 roasts for Star Wars The Last Jedi and The Matrix 4. Those movie roasts are going to be coming out hopefully before the end of Christmas still, the end of the holidays. Otherwise, I have a review coming up for Silent Night, I think it's called, the new John Woo flick. I'm not going to lie, the trailers for this did not do anything for me. It looks kind of bad, I think. But maybe, and this happens, the trailer will surprise me, or the movie will surprise me, and the trailer will have been off, and that's cool. I think it's at around 60-some% on Rotten Tomatoes. Clearly, it's a little bit more torn with the critics, and we'll see. I plan on getting that review out maybe Saturday afternoon, maybe Sunday. All right, that's all I got for you. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Godzilla fans, I'm glad you love the movie. I truly am glad you love the movie. That's all I have to say. Take care.